grown into. Let them be like on some Biggie and Pac stuff back then, and they had and their career had gone into that kind of romanticized public with personas. You know what I mean? And everyone would have been saying, "You owe me." What's that jam, man? Like this, that, there's still people who like that song. Like I like that song, but people are just saying it like if you ask me, sometimes they get it confused. They say it to distinctly, like separate the eras. Like you know what I mean? And like you have like Nas and Illmatic, and then you have Nas on Nostradamus. You can't even compare the two. Like you wouldn't even compare the artists.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I just look at it that way.
I just think that for that album, Nas got cloned, and that wasn't really him. But you know, with everything I listen to Nas, like I always get it the first time. It's never like I have to go back and listen to it. Like, but with Jay, like there's certain stuff that doesn't hit me till like years later sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's like more like depth to it.
Yes.
So it's just a different listening kind of experience. It's just two different kind of artists. Mm-hmm. And I mean, when they got together, they dropped dope stuff as well. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Black Republican, great song.
Yeah.
Like you know, BBC. D-Boy Drug Dealer, man.
Yeah.
that was a joint. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they probably have so much in the stash we haven't heard yet. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that joint that Swiss dropped at the battle with
so many artists. That's how I look at music, man. Like forget what they released to us. Like, what are all the songs they have not even released to us? Like, you know what I mean? So many collaborations that haven't seen the light of day because of contract issues, all that stuff. Yeah. People need to like acknowledge all that stuff too, because that plays a huge part in why the people aren't giving the quality of music everyone complains about all the time. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's contractual obligations that people have, and as adults, they have to handle them. So, like, when that comes into the music and it becomes a music business, like people do that all the time. Like they get feelings and emotions and all these things caught up into it, and it's business. You can't have no emotions with that. Like, you know what I mean?
You can't love these hoes.
Yeah, but you know, people love these hoes. Like, these hoes gonna be loved by someone. Like, you know, so
shout out 21 Savage.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, hey, if you love who you love, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not gonna go there right now.
Yeah, love is love. Love make niggas do crazy shit. Love make bitches do crazy shit. Love make us all do crazy shit.
This guy wants to quote his own music. Anyway,
shout out to my guy Superficial.
Yeah. That's the homie. We go back from like middle school or something.
Yeah, fact of life. And my brother and my brothers, everyone across America and other worlds alike.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's shout out, let's shout out Bellport, you know what I'm saying?
Bellport, New York was goody.
Yeah, what's good to the port and everybody listening from like all over the place.
Yeah.
We ain't
Medford. Patchogue.
Yeah, all them places, all them Native American names.
Yeah, South Bellport, North Bellport, what do you call them? Brookhaven, Crookhaven, all of them guys.
Yeah.
Shirley, Mastic.
Shout out to Brookhaven Hospital, killing niggas daily.
Only a nigga from Long Island can say that though, and know what it means. It's mad funny because you know the people that be working there too, and it's funny. Like, it's just funny.
All right, so speaking of music, I'm thinking about like some of the newer artists. Are there any new artists, like, I guess like famous ones, and then we'll get to like the more local level that you identify with, that you bang with?
In what way?
Like, either musically, like if you heard like a dope interview from them, like
artists.
Yeah, artists.
Right now, like Banksy.
I've heard that name, but I never really listened to it because I'm about to be 30 and more.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's like it's timeless music, if you ask me. It's a woman, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't look that deep into some of these artists. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I like their music. Yeah. And I listen to it a lot. But I think it's a woman, and she sings all these songs in an elaborate ambient sound. What else? Like, hip hop wise, like I listen to like a lot of underground artists. Like, you know what I mean, mostly, and a lot of the former underground artists that are now like mainstream.
Right.
So,
any names or?
Like them all. Like anyone you hear about nowadays, I've probably been listening to them for a while. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you had all these other websites. Like, you know what I mean? Nowadays people just kind of like get their music from iTunes and like the social media or whatever.
Right.
And usually I would say I got most of my music from like hip hop websites, like, you know what I mean, like
right.
hiphopgame.com, like allhiphop.com, and like of course Kaza and LimeWire and all that stuff. When getting viruses on your computer was cool. And
I just thought about like that Kazaa thing. That was probably like something run by the Russians. It seems like
just to get all
Kazaa. Like I can see like somebody like saying that with like a Russian accent. I
wouldn't be surprised. You know, it's a data mine out there. So.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably run by DJ Vlad or something. Anyway, so but yeah, like as far as the artists that I listen to, I just saw an interview, like old interview with Vince Staples actually, and he actually reminds me of you the way he thinks about shit. He doesn't care, like he doesn't care about anything, but at the same time, it's just like who I got a front for. Also, like
yeah, you know what's funny you say that? It's because like the other day I was saying to myself, yo, that nigga kind of looks like my brother a little bit.
Yo, he does. Oh, shit.
Yo. Shout out to my brother out in Cali, yo. It's why it's ironic. Like, you know, that's why it's all ironic, too, because it's like, it's mad.
That's funny shit.
He was exactly like my brother, so shout out to my brother. He's my older brother. Like, you know, I'm like one of 5, so I'm the second oldest. And, yeah. But he looked just like my brother, so I thought it was funny. But, yeah, I see how you can say that, because, like, I like Vince Staples' music. I feel like he's descriptive, like I mentioned before, like one of the many who will sit down and he'll describe what he's seeing to you. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and he could also rap. Big Fish Theory was pretty popping too.
Yeah.
That's fire.
I bang with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as you go and your music, what do you got coming out?
I have this Last Laugh project, and you know it's all over like these platforms. I'm gonna put out myself because I can't get no help the way I want help. You know what I mean? You know what they say, you can't get help, you gotta do it yourself. You know, so
yeah.
But I can get plenty of help. It's not that. It's just that I need to learn. Like, you know, like I can't just depend on people to do things for me, and that's like the laugh for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at one point in my career where I was working on music, I just really gave it no thought. I just went to the studio. I brought weed with me. I recorded. I rolled up, and
no, he didn't.
No, I didn't do any of that. Just free one. Nah, like I did all that stuff, but it didn't affect me in a way creatively that I would always think every single time. Like, you know, like, so yeah. I got through it all, and it shifted. Like, things changed. Like, it wasn't that format for me no more. I didn't have to just go smoke weed and do all this stuff. I can be sober and go to the studio and write music, and I felt at my home in space. And now I brought it to a point where I'm recording in my home space. Like, you know, I brought the studio to me.
Right.
It was at a point where my studio was following me everywhere I worked.
Right.
And now it's in my home. So I just want to note that. That's an annotation. Like, yeah, I was listening to God. Like I say all the time to everyone, I don't think much of myself. Like, people think like you carry yourself a certain way with a certain confidence. Like, it immediately leads them to assume you have some kind of arrogant demeanor within you, and it's not necessarily the case. Like, perhaps I went through something you can't externally, like with your senses, appreciate or understand yet because you didn't internally go through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I just find that to be interesting ultimately. Like, you know what I mean? Most people just they internalize all the bad stuff, and you know, the external world's not supposed to control you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. I think that I think you were very nice on that answer, because I mean, honestly, I feel like when it comes to quote unquote arrogance, that I mean, it's really not arrogance. It's just that my confidence in myself triggers your inferiority complex.
Oh yeah, exactly. See, and that's the thing. Like, I'm full on fine with understanding and acknowledging the fact that you have an inferiority complex. I'm fine with that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's all good. I can let you live. I'm not the one out here chastising people.
Yeah, that's their problem.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad about that. Yeah. Even if that was the case,
yeah,
I'm not mad about that. Why are you mad about that? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I know why you're mad about it, because you got an inferiority complex.
Exactly, perhaps. But you know, some people don't know what an inferiority complex is.
Well,
I'll give you a story then. There was a guy on the train, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was on my way to Shirley. I was going to meet up with my mom's in Shirley, and she was going to take me to go get something to eat. Way back when. So I was on the train or whatever, and I had a ring on my finger and whatnot. So as I was on the train, he was sitting there talking to me for a minute, you know what I mean? Didn't say nothing to me about the ring or nothing like that. Like, you know what I mean? Just talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, we moved to the other cart because, like, when you go into a certain part in Long Island, you had to move to the cart to get off and get to the stop. Yeah, so we was doing that, and he was talking to me, and then he looked at my ring or whatever. I guess he finally saw it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yo, hey, you perpetrating the fraud. Like, this, that. I'm like, you know what? Like, sir, this whole entire time I sat here, I had a conversation with you, like this, that, and third, but like you finally see my ring on my finger, and like you see that we have, like, you know, engaged in conversation. So you now figure that means I'm this way because of that one variable, like, and that one variable brought you to that conclusion. Like, you do that with everything in your life, like, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's just funny to me, like, you know,
yeah.
So. That was just one thing I had to acknowledge. I let him know. I was like, yo, you have an inferiority complex right there on the LIRR. And he didn't know what I meant. Or maybe he did, he just didn't acknowledge it. But I said it to him. And he was just like, he had really no words to me. Like, I mean, I probably wasn't hearing it. Like, I didn't hear him after that.
Yeah.
But my thing is I extended my courtesy in conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't chastise him. I didn't judge him. I knew none of that stuff. Like, it's like the type of person like you see on the subway and people try to avoid because they look like they're gonna be like a wino, like, you know what I mean. But it's like yeah, like, you know what I mean. I just talked to dude, black guy, you know. He said he had family out here and whatnot. He's not a homeless person. He just looks the way he looks. Yeah, you know what I mean.
So he's perpetrating a fraud then.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean. Like, so he said it to me.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, yo, that's not love. Like, you know what I mean. And I pride myself on that much, like knowing like when to like cut my losses and duck out. When it's not love, I'm like, peace. Like, you know,
he's appropriating vagabond culture. That's messed up. It's messed up.
And you know, there's people out here who do that. There's Caucasian folks out here who do that. It's not just the brothers and sisters and whatnot. Yeah. Like, there's all kinds of ethnicities that do that.
Yeah.
And some of them be filthy, stinking rich, and they out here and they do that. Like, you know, don't not acknowledge that too.
Yeah.
There's many sides to the game.
$60,000 a year of donations, tax free. Speaking of which, I just saw on Facebook today, one of my I'm not gonna say who posted it, that's irrelevant, but I saw this video of these cops at McDonald's. Well, this cop, he, you know, was trying to get these homeless people out of McDonald's. They were just, you know, sleeping there, loitering or whatever, and it ends up being like a brawl. The cop gets jumped and all this other stuff, and you know, they somebody else like kind of jumps in to help the cop. He hits this dude with a chair. It'd probably be pretty funny if it was dubbed over like some WWE like audio or whatever. And people was like, yo, it's crazy how we treat the homeless instead of, you know, creating jobs for them, etc., etc. And here's my take on the whole homeless thing. Mind you, for the average person with no family at all, not average person, because most people have families, but for the person that doesn't have a family, that may have moved to some place in the mountains where nobody knows them and stuff like that, and how 75% of people are in America are paycheck to paycheck, I guess in that sense, you know, it is pretty easy to be homeless. However, people have families, people have friends, people have, you know, a lot of, you know, they have different kinds of avenues to where they can, you know, let you squat, you know, till you get back on your feet. So a lot of these people out there, they have exhausted those resources, you know. They gave you the 6 months to, you know, get back on your feet. And you know what I'm saying? And you just kept, you know, using that little bit of money to, you know, to do dope or do whatever. And I don't think the best thing that you could do for a homeless person is to offer them a job. You know, like growing up, we used to laugh at the dude that was sweeping up the head of the barbershop who looked homeless or whatever. But I mean, hey, he was given the opportunity and he took it. Mm-hmm. He made, who's to say, he probably even came up and said, yo, can I sweep up some hair for a little bit of change, whatever, a little bit of money. Mm-hmm. And they gave him a job. So salute to the barbershop and salute to the person that was sweeping up.
And that's how you pay it forward, though, because you don't know what that man went and did well for someone just because he had that bread to be able to work that day in that shop. You know what I mean? That it's better than being out here and robbing your house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's something honest. Like you can't look at something like that and be demeaning. Like, you know what I mean? That's how someone made a living.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I don't carry myself in that way with that kind of arrogance where people think that they can just like knock a person's hustle. Like, it's not kosher.
Yeah, see, my thing is just I don't respect. Maybe it's just a man thing the way that I was raised, but I don't respect like a grown man begging. That's like able-bodied.
Exactly.
Because again, like it's not like he came like these people that were homeless came there to